So chapter 4 is all about teaching music through singing. So your next micro-teach is going to be about how to teach a song to your children or students. So I know everyone came to class prepared to talk about chapter 4 today, right? Good. My last class was just like, I didn't know we were supposed to read before we came to class. So there might be like a little pop quiz on chapter 5 next week. Who knows what's going to happen? So just come to, like if it's on the syllabus or on the course schedule, make sure that you are coming to class prepared to talk about that chapter. Okay, so teaching music through singing. So we're going to discuss the difference between a child's voice versus an adult's voice. Okay? A child's voice, let's talk about adults first. Okay? We are fully developed human beings. Actually, like you all are not yet. It's kind of strange. A female's voice does not mature until their late 20s. That's why you see a lot of like child's roles, or not child's roles, but young women's roles played by like women in their 30s and 40s because their voices are fully mature. Let's see what else. So adult voices fall into 4 different categories. Females typically fall into either a soprano or alto voice, and men fall into a tenor or bass voice. I am a tenor. That means I sing higher than the basses do. So, Sarah, alto? Yeah, alto too? Yeah. Because you have a very low voice, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so adult voices should be full and resonant, which means, do you know what resonant means? Please tell me that you do know what resonant means, or resonating. What is resonate? If something resonates, what happens to the sound?
It kind of echoes almost.
It kind of echoes,
It's bouncing
it
around.
bounces around. Like if I have a resonating chamber, like a guitar has that hole cut in the middle of it, the sound bounces around inside of that guitar and amplifies it. Okay? So as adults, I have 4 different chambers that my voice resonates in. Anybody guess some of them? Mouth, chest, your nasal cavities, and your head. Yeah.
I was totally like,
Yeah. Yeah. So you have 4 different resonating chambers that are fully developed. You have your chest, you have your mouth, which is like the biggest one really. You have your nasal cavities, and you also have your head. And when I say head, I mean all the other stuff where sound can bounce around in. Okay? So let's talk a little bit about children's voices. Because they're not fully developed yet, let me turn this off just a little bit so maybe we can see. There we go. Because they're not fully developed yet, they don't have all of that room to bounce around in. So their voices are very light, kind of airy at times, and they're higher than normal, okay? Because their vocal cords are not stretched as far as ours as adults. They're shorter. When I say light and high in both quality and volume, when I say quality of voice, I mean the timbre of their voices, okay? So the tone color. When I say volume, I mean that it takes a 90-piece children's choir to equal what a 20-piece adult choir could put out as far as volume. Because they're not very loud. And if you try to force your children to sing loudly, they're going to scream, and it's going to sound awful. Also, children have a very limited range. And it starts off very small, from about here to here, and it finally develops almost, by the time they're in 6th grade, they should be able to sing from here to about here. Versus me, as an adult singer that's trained, can sing from here to here. And Mariah Carey, also a trained singer, has a 5-octave range from like here, actually no, here, to here. Okay? Yeah. She's a little crazy. That's an extreme case. But typically, adults can sing about 1.5 octaves, or about 13 notes. Stretch it to 2 octaves if you're trained.
Did you say she could sing 5?
5. Yeah, she has a 5-octave range.
she's
Yeah.
awesome.
So she has what those like whistle tones. Have you heard of like whistle tones before? Like
No, yeah, but we're
yeah, the things that she's like breathing in to do or something. Yeah. So I can do them in my own range, but not in hers. So boys and girls have the same quality of voice till about age 9. Okay? So up until about 3rd grade, they should be singing the exact same things in the exact same way. There's no difference in their voices whatsoever until age 9, for the most part. So once age 9 is hit, girls' voices become very light and thin. And then boys' voices actually start to become much more powerful and resonant because they are starting to go through puberty, and like the first thing that happens is that all of this stuff opens up. All right? So they're developing that muscle right here. Any questions about children versus adult voices? Whenever you see children's music, it's all going to be listed as SA or soprano alto. Okay? So once a boy hits puberty, what happens to his voice?
It's lower.
It gets lower, but there for like a period of like a couple months, it's like this really weird rocking roller coaster of like soprano, bass, and that's why their voices crack a lot of the time. It's because your vocal cords, as they develop, they stretch a little bit, and as they're stretching, sometimes they hit like weird notes in there. That's why it's difficult to kind of figure out how those vocal cords are going to be placed. Partials if you're a musician. So they're hitting like weird partials as they develop. So if you're playing the trumpet, right, and you're like buzzing your lips faster, what happens? It goes higher. Well, a lot of times you can't control that. So that's why they crack. Female voices also, their voices do change, but not as drastically, because they don't stretch as much as a man's does. So, vocal characteristics and abilities of students. Your book, which everyone should have on them, has a really nice, concise list of vocal characteristics and abilities of every age group from pre-K through 6th grade. If you have the 8th edition, it's going to be on pages 76 through 79. If you have the 9th edition, it's going to be on page 70. Okay? And it takes you through the ranges, what they should be singing, what they should not be singing. And one of your homework questions has this on there. All right? So let's talk a little bit about some vocabulary that your book is using that might be confusing to you if you're not a musician. Everyone is a musician, let me say that again. If you're not a trained musician that's able to talk about music. Because listening to music is 1/3 of the whole thing. So your book talks about a range, which is how high or how low your voice can go, or an instrument can be played. So if I talk about the piano's range, there's 88 notes that it can play. From a low A, all the way to a high C. Okay? If I'm talking about my vocal range, it's from a low G up to a high F. Okay? So, and I can go higher, but it sounds terrible, much like that last note. So, lowest to highest is the range, just like in numbers. So the range of an instrument or the range of a voice is the lowest note to the highest note that they can hit, while sounding good. Okay? I can hit lower notes than that on a really, really good day when I woke up and I have like lots of like stuff in my like that, right? And you can do that too. Everyone knows that. And then sopranos are like, I can hit only the highest notes whenever I warm up for 3 hours. Yeah, and so like you have to like warm up to get to those notes. Okay? All right, the next thing that I want to talk about are tonal centers. Okay? So tonal centers are the key or the sound in which a song is based. Okay? So please do not equate these to happy and sad. So if I'm talking about a major key, it's built around a major scale, which are a very specific pattern in notes. Okay? So here's a major scale. Okay? And it's do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, so, fa, mi, re, do, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, there we go. All right? Here is a minor scale. Yes?
Could you go over I don't know, maybe I'm confused. Why is it, you said not to do it with happy, but happy's on the board?
What do you mean?
You just said not to compare the major to like happy or sad.
Did I really just say that?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I was gonna.
I meant high and low. That's what I meant.
Oh.
Okay, just ignore what I just said. I'm a terrible person that's in lots of pain right now. So, yeah. Here we go. So listen, here's a major scale. So here is, sing Mary Had a Little Lamb for me. Here we go. Beautiful. So that is in a major key. Here is also, this is an A flat major. This song right here. Okay, so even though that is slow and tranquil, that is still to be set in a major key. All right? So here's a minor scale. It's a different set of pitches that go together. And for those of you that have musical training, there are 3 different types of minor scales. Do you know what they are? That's a natural minor. Here is a melodic minor. And then you have a harmonic minor. Listen. Right?
What was the middle one? Sorry.
Melodic. You raise the 6th and 7th on the way up and lower it on the way down. I don't know if you all have gotten into that as far as musical training goes, or if you need to know that. But you got a question, Sarah?
I don't really get the difference.
Okay, here's major. And I'm gonna
Yeah,
get there
like,
here in
can
a
we put
second.
them like right next to each
Yeah,
other?
I will. Yes. Sing Mary Had a Little Lamb. There was a minor scale.
Okay.
Sing Mary Had a Little Lamb again. Here we go. Here we go. Good. Now sing Mary Had a Little Lamb. Versus. Do you hear the difference?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you hear the difference?
Kind of, yeah.
Kind of, yes.
I kind of get what you're saying, like the happy, sad thing.
Right. So the tonality, the tonal center, how it sounds.
Yeah.
So here is a piece in a minor key. Remember the piece in the major key, listen. And I can play that fast or slow. Okay, so I can play it slower. So when I say don't say happy or sad, I'm saying don't equate it to the feeling that the music gives you. Listen to the tonal center, how it sounds. Okay? Here's a key piece in a minor key, Sarah. It's different. Okay, does that sound
Yeah, a
make
lot
it a little?
different. Yeah.
Okay.
Like,
So the piece that we played on Friday, the Let's Play a Game. Okay.
and that's major.
No,
Dang
it is major, sort of, but it's actually pentatonic because remember how you took those bars off of your instruments, and we had how many different notes on the bars?
Like 3, 2,
Yeah. So 3 plus 2 is what?
5.
Yeah, there you go. So pentatonic, I put equals Asian up here, which might sound a little like un-PC, but Asian music is indicative of those, that kind of tonal center. Listen.
Yeah.
So there's 5 notes. The black keys on the piano all sound good together no matter what you play. Because it's only 5 different notes, and there's no half steps in there to kind of throw you off. Okay? So, the piece that we played in on Friday was in a pentatonic scale. And you can have major and minor pentatonics. So if I had, the piece that we played on Friday was in a major pentatonic scale. So that's why you're confused.
Okay, gotcha.
So here's like, we only use 5 notes in that piece. If I wanted to go, that's a minor pentatonic, but you're only using 5 notes there too. Okay, so, syncopation. This is when you accent weak beats in a measure. On Friday, I wrote some stuff on the board, and we talked about how the different tas and ts, if I put a rest on the downbeat, and we set a t on the upbeat, that would be accenting weak beats in a measure. So if my rhythm was this, ta, ti, ti, ta, ti, 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 ta, that would be syncopation, because I rested on beat 2 for a half a beat. Ta, ti, I said the t when my hands were where? Apart, which means that is the upbeat, this is the downbeat. Ta, ti, 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 ta. Or I could go ta, ti, 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 ta. See what I'm saying? That's syncopation, when you're accenting the offbeats. A lot of music that we listen to is syncopated because it makes it much more interesting. So if I were to play Twinkle Twinkle Little Stars, or let's go with Mary Had a Little Lamb since we've been doing it all day. So, that's syncopated versus. That's all on the downbeat. No weak beats are accented there. Okay, legato is an Italian word that means smooth or connected. So your book talks a lot about legato singing in chapter 4, and that has to do with how you sing. So if I were singing, Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb, Mary had a little lamb whose fleece was white as snow. Is that connected?
No.
No, I am singing marcato or march-like. All musical terms are typically in Italian. It's just the way developed. So if I were to be singing legato, it would be, Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, a little lamb. Mary had a little lamb, whose fleece was white as snow. All connected and smooth. Sort of. As smooth as it can be at 9 o'clock in the morning, right? Okay, so let's go over some correct singing techniques. I need you to put your stuff down and stand up. Thank you. And for those of you that are in the back row, come to the front row, please, in some capacity. Good. And I need for you to please, everyone's stretching. Good. Do me a favor. I would like for you to just reach down and try and touch your toes. Just don't stand there, Sarah, because that's where the camera is. Yeah. And just hang like a rag doll, or swing your arms just a little bit. Don't bounce, and roll up slowly. And stay hunched over. All right. Watch me. See how I'm sideways like this? Yeah. It's not a good look, right? So I want you to roll your shoulders back and down. Good. Now, I also want your feet to be shoulder width apart, because this right here is not very strong. This right here is much stronger. And maybe put one foot in front of the other. So I can like walk up to you and push you. Oh look, she doesn't fall over, okay? So, sorry Kelsey, you just bore the brunt of my rage this morning. I'm kidding. So, do that one more time, please. Good, and roll up. And roll your shoulders back and then down. Good, you don't want soldiers, because then that's not going to be good, and you don't want to be lazy either, because it's going to close all of this up right here, or open it up too wide and force it out. Okay? So shoulders are down, arms are where? By our side. Where are our knees? Like this? Like this? No, they're just like slightly bent, one foot in front of the other. It's to be strong, so I can like push you and you won't fall over. Good. I need for you to please do me a favor and scrunch your face up as tight as possible. Yep, there you go. You look real good. Okay, now open it up as wide as possible. Close your mouth. Good. And most of you did it right, because I saw, here's what I see, Shannon. You're going like this. Yeah. So make sure your eyebrows are where? Still raised. And the reason that we raise our eyebrows is because we want the sound to bounce around all of this place. Right? And if you're like this, your sound's going to come out right out your nose, which is not good, unless I ask for it, because then it is good. Okay, so, and everyone do this, please. And everyone's seen Home Alone, right? Yeah. So give me that great Macaulay Culkin face. You might not have seen Home Alone. It's okay. It's fine. Good. Oh my gosh, my parents are in New York and I'm here home alone. Oh, good. So, and this is where your jaw is. Nice and relaxed. Good. Take your fingertips, and don't give me Botox face, but lightly move your fingertips from your temple down to your jaw. And Morgan, when we do that, we want to lower our jaw, okay? Yeah. Yeah. Say it, watch. And then I saw Sarah going like this. Yeah, and this right here fits in between your teeth on either side. This part of your hand fits in between your teeth. And that should be how wide your mouth should be most of the time when you sing. Good! I would like for you to please show me good posture. So shoulders dropped. Shoulders relaxed and dropped, not forward or back. There we go. I can't talk this morning. So all this is in one straight line. All right, feet should be shoulder width apart. Your eyebrows should be where, like you've just seen the best present in the entire world. Thank you, Mom, right? And then your mouth should be where? Nice and relaxed. And I want you to separate your teeth, but close your mouth. So nice and relaxed jaw, even when your mouth is closed. And point to your nose, please. Good. And I want to hear, and you're going to hum with me, but all your sound's going to come out of your nose, not your mouth. I want, so it's nice and pointed right there. And if you're Reveille, you can go, if you want, that's fine with me. Here we go. I would like for you to take your fingertips like we just did, and instead of saying, I want all the sound to come out of your mouth this time, and it needs to sound like this. Yaw, or yaw, whichever way you would like to do it is fine with me. Guess what? You're the only guy in here, so you're going to stick out like a sore thumb. There's no other way around it. So just get used to it now, because your second language teach is all about how to what? Teach a song to your children. I'm not expecting you to be opera singers. Please don't be opera singers. I'm also not expecting you to be Britney Spears either, because she sounds terrible, but she also has the benefit of auto-tune. So I don't really sound like, if you sound like a dying cat right now, that's fine. Okay? We're preparing to sing. That's all there is to it. We're getting our bodies ready to sing. So for those of you that are musically inclined, I never go above a B flat for females. Or a G for guys, because that's too extreme when you're warming up. So, all right. I want to hear, yaw, nice and low, relaxed. Okay, here we go. Ready? Yaw, thank you. Yaw, do this with me. If you can't do this, you're not going to be able to sing in front of your peers, because guess what? You are going to look really, really dumb today. And that's good. Because that means we'll all look dumb together, but I'm not going to make you do anything that's not going to make you a better singer. Okay? Here we go. this.
I can't do that.
I can't.
Yeah, you can. Close your lips.
I'm gonna spit.
That's great. Spit. That's the whole purpose. Here we go. Relax your arms. Watch your feet. Good. Massage your face and please.
Oh.
That's so
Do-
sad.
Do this.
So on my
I'm like,
Give me Botox face. Give me grandma face. Relax your face. Open up your mouth. Yeah, that should be the face shape that you have whenever you sing. That's a quick introduction to proper vocal technique. Wednesday and Friday, you will be singing a lot more. So get used to it. So you can have a seat. So, a couple of things. As the teacher, you must over-exaggerate everything that you're doing. If you don't, what are you going to get from your students? Yeah, that and the fact that I can always pull you back as performers, but I can't, it's really hard to push people forward. Especially if I'm not giving you what you need. So that goes for the same thing. It's like in math class, if I'm asking you to do a problem, and I go, as the teacher, right to the answer without showing you how I got there. Okay? And I have to show you how I got there and break it down for every single little teeny tiny step. Plus signs, minus signs, lining them up, or bubbles, however they're doing math right now, which is Korean math. Okay, so you must model good vowel placement and diction at all times. Vowel placement is where we say our vowels in our mouth. We have oo, ah, at, e, and ah. There we go. So there's like 5 or 6 of them that we do when we sing. Diction is where you place those vowels and the consonants in your mouth. So if I were speaking with proper diction, I would be making sure that every single vowel and consonant is sounded. Do we normally do this whenever we speak?
No.
No, we do not, because if we did, we might sound like a robot. But it's important to do that when we sing. Why? So you can hear. Also, more importantly, it does what? Yeah. Do you mind singing for a second? Mary Had a Little Lamb?
sure.
Yeah, sing that. Do it.
Mary had a
Little lamb, little lamb, little lamb, Mary had a little lamb whose fleece was white as snow.
That's what my old school would sound like.
Yeah, okay, so there's the deal. Sing that again like that. Ready?
Mary had a
Little lamb, little lamb, little lamb, Mary had a little lamb whose fleece was white as snow. Did that sound good together?
No.
Sing it again.
Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. Mary had a little lamb whose fleece was white as snow.
I'm matching her diction now. We have the same diction and vowel placement. Now does it sound like one voice instead of 2?
Yeah.
It should. So that brings me to my next point. Singing in tune is when you have the right vowel shape and the right diction at the same time. And you also are hitting the right note, which is the most important thing. Okay. So, do that one more time for me.
Mary
Had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. Mary had a little lamb whose fleece was white as snow. I'm a half a step lower than she is. I'm not singing in tune, we're not hitting the same notes. Even though our diction and the vowel placement might be the same, we're not hitting the right notes together. So and children do not naturally sing in tune. You have to train them how to do that. Okay? And so here are some tips and tricks to singing in tune. Easy chants are the best way to establish that tonal center. It's the best way to get your students to sing on the same pitch. And so, Mary Alyssa, if you were teasing your younger brother or sister, what might you say as a first grader?
As a first grader?
Yeah! You'd be like going on the playground and teasing a classmate or something. You can't catch me.
Too slow.
You're too slow. I'm too fast. Yeah. And then you would say, na 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 boo boo, right? Yeah. So do this with me. Na 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 boo boo.
Na na na
So me, la so me. Do this with me. So me, la so me. 3 notes. Typically around mi so la. Do me a favor and say so. Or so. Thank you for trying. I really appreciate that. This is the right note that you should be singing. So. So me so. Skip or jump? Skip, jump, or repeat a note. Sorry.
Jump.
Jump or skip, yeah. We're skipping a note. Yeah, I just gave you the answer. What about so, la, so? Look where my hands are going. Step, skip, repeat. Step. So, la, so. So, la, so, me. Sing this back to me. Yes, ma'am.
As far as repeat goes, so does the repeat have to be like, this might be stupid, but like do, is that?
How did you know to do that fist?
I know all of them.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I was in choir.
Okay, wow. All right, good for you.
Get it, girl.
But I'm not,
So,
I'm not
do.
singing. Yeah,
Right, yeah, so.
Instead of do, would it be like if you did do, re, is that still considered a
No,
repeat or
those are steps,
Okay, so
because
it
you're
just has
moving
to be
from
the
one
same.
step to the next, or
Okay.
back down. Even though you're going like this, basically you're not going
You're
anywhere.
still you're repeating,
Yeah,
but that's
you
not
can say that the
considered-
phrase is repeating,
Okay.
but the notes are not, they're step notes.
It's not a.
It's
technical-
stepwise motion, yeah.
Okay.
Up, down, up, down, up, down. Do, so, or do, re, yeah.
Gotcha.
And she's talking about these things called curve and hand signs. I don't know if any of you have used them before. They're a really good way to visually represent how to sing. So you've all heard of The Sound of Music for the most part, right?
Oh yeah.
Do, a dear, a female dear, re, a drop of lemon sign. Yeah, okay. So those are all nonsense syllables that mean something in music. Okay? And so they're to help us sing in tune. Every single vowel shape is represented in those nonsense syllables. And each one has a corresponding hand sign, because I can go like this, and you can sing that back to me, typically. So, and I use both arms to do them because it opens up the rib cage, a proper singing technique. So, and they are do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, la, so, fa, mi, re, do. And the way the direction that they're pointing is where they resolve to, which for those of you that are not singers, you don't have to know this. But do, re, where does re want to go? Either to do or mi, right? So this could go either way. Mi, fa. Where does fa want to go? Down. Fa, mi. That's a half step between mi and fa.
Bless you.
Fa, so, do, re, mi, fa, so, la, ti. Where am I pointing? Up to do, ti, do. Okay, and that's the 7th, which is the most psychologically damaging tone, really, because you always want to resolve it.
Do they still emphasize that in like
Yeah, I
younger
teach it.
children? Because I remember it was like really important in my part.
I use it as a tool, and we'll talk later on when I say modes of curricular instruction. In music, there's 3 big ones. There's Dalcroze, Orff, and Kodály. And Kodály is a very big proponent of these type of hand signs because he's focused more on literacy and how to read music. I'm not a Kodály teacher. I teach more in the Orff or Dalcroze style because I'm more worried about the process and how we get there and how much contribution students make.
Okay.
Anyways, so echo and call and response songs are also good tools to assist young voices to sing in tune, which means if I were to sing to Gabby, Gabby, how are you? That's not on the pitches. Gabby, how are you? No, I want you to tell me how you're doing.
I'm doing just fine.
Thank you. That's a call and response, right? Yeah. So if I were to echo, I would say, Gabby, how are you?
I'm doing just fine.
Call and response, echo now. Gabby, how are you? Yeah, that's an echo. Okay, so proper singing technique is directly related to a child's ability to sing in tune, which means that if my shoulders are not down and relaxed, my jaw's not dropped, my feet are not planted, it's not going to work. Okay? Singing harmony. That's the basic element of music this week is harmony. This is when two or more notes are played at the same time. So here's a melody. Okay? That's a melody. One note's playing at a time. But it's also not this. That's not a melody. Melody, right? I can harmonize that melody or play another note with it. To have harmony. So now we have two different things happening at once. So, singing harmony is really abstract for a lot of young students, and the easiest way to do that are by using these tools up here. So lining out a song would mean to hold out a note, one part of the group holds out a note while the rest of them start singing. So can we have from Morgan's Over? Oh, when the saints go marching in. You're gonna hold that for 8 beats, okay? 1, 2, ready. Oh, when the saints go marching in. Good, you got it. So you all are gonna sing the same thing, just 4 beats later. So, oh, when the saints, oh, when the saints. Here we go, 1, 2, 3. Oh, when the saints go marching in, go marching in. Good, so we're lining out that, we're holding that last note out to create some form of harmony right there. It's the most basic form. Okay? So, singing cannons and rounds. In this class, we're not going to make a distinction between a cannon and a round. There are differences. But who cares right now, right? So just know that a canon or a round is when I sing something and then you sing the exact same thing after. You just start and stop at a different time. So we're singing the exact same thing, they just occur at something later or before. Here we go. 1, 2, ready. Row, row, row your boat, row, row, row your boat, gently down the stream. Perfect, yeah, that's a canon or a round. Singing echo songs. This is when I sing something and then you sing it back to me exactly. We just talked about that. Adding descants to a song. This is where you have a melody that complements the main melody, and typically it's above that melody, and I'll give you an example of it right now. Because this is one of the harder things to figure out. A descant is a complementary melody almost that's above the actual melody. So is everyone familiar with Hark the Herald Angels Sing, Glory to da 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 da? You've heard that Christmas song before? Okay. So here it is with a descant above it. I'll sing da 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 da. Do you hear that part above there that's happening? It's not the main melody because you could sing da 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 da. And that would be a very good example of a descant. It happens above the melody to complement it, but it's not the melody itself. Typically the descants that I would use would consist of like 1 or 2 notes, not like that involved. Question? Any questions about it? Okay, we're not going to do any descants in here, all right? Okay, singing call and response, we just talked about that. Singing ostinato chants, melodic chants. You know this song. Let's play a game, clap and say your name. Everyone will copy you and sound just the same, right? We did that on Friday. Repeat after me. Game, play a game. game. Play a game. Game.
Play a game.
Keep that going, please.
Game. Play a game.
Let's play a game.
Play a game.
Come and say your name.
Game.
Everyone will copy you.
Play a
It sounds
game.
just the same. Stop. So that's an easy way to create harmony is by creating a melodic ostinato to accompany a song. And that's what a melodic ostinato is. Singing partner songs. We will go over what a partner song is. It is when, and you're going to actually do a partner song on Friday, which is really fun. Some of you might know it. Most of you probably will not. It's when I teach everyone one line of a song, and then I teach you another separate line of the song, and then we split into groups, and one group takes the first line, and the other group takes the second line, and you sing them together. Like a partner. Okay? Anybody think of a partner song right now? First verse, second verse, then you put them together and sing it at the same time. Usually something contrasting to complement one another.
Would that be like the ostinato?
No, because they're both the melody.
Okay.
Okay? So in this partner song, you have two different melodies happening at once.
Is that like Pitch Perfect when they do the mashups? Would that work?
Yes, that's what a partner song is. Yeah. So,
Prince of Peace is a good song, I know.
what?
Prince of Peace is like a church song,
Yeah.
so widely known. It's a good partner song.
How?
Because they have the two verses at the same time, they're both melody, where the boys and girls split off,
Okay.
and then
Yes.
there's like the two corresponding parts at the same time.
Yeah. So, and what Gabby's talking about are there two different melodies happening at once, and they usually happen separately, and then at the end you'll put them all together, right? For some dynamic contrast, melodic contrast, some musical contrast in general. Okay, so discovering patterns in a song. Patterns are present throughout music. Music is just a bunch of different patterns put together. Think about the scales that we just talked about. So the pattern for a major scale is whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, half step. You don't have to know that, but I can start on any note on the piano and make that pattern happen. And I have a different major scale. Okay, same thing for minor scale. Also, patterns can be rhythmic, melodic, or harmonic. Think about the Let's Play a Game that we did on Friday. What parts of that melody were the same and what parts were different? Let's play a game, clap and say your name. Everyone will copy you and sound just the same. How many parts were the same? 3, right? And then, well, you could say 2 or 3. And the second time, it was just an extra 8th note. It's a repeated note instead of a step note, right? Or a skip note. So if I said, hey, Kelsey, the first part, second part, and the fourth part are the same, can you just go ahead and play all 4 of those together and just leave the third part out? And then I'll teach you that third part. Instead of trying to teach you every single part separately and then trying to put it together. Right? So, and like they're used to facilitate faster learning of a song, a poem, a math problem, it doesn't matter, right? If you can say, if you're working on like counting even numbers, you're not going to teach them 2 plus 2 is 4, right? The plus 2 is 6, plus 2 is 8. You're just going to teach them 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, right? You're going to teach them how to do that really quickly, so then you can go back and say, oh, okay, well, this is how it's done. So it's just like that quick repetition is what you want. So figuring out patterns in music, which I do all the time as a musician, and I said, oh, this 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 pattern repeats here, but starting on a different note. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I got that one too. Okay, that's all it is. Just learning to how to see those, and then putting them together to create something and make it faster and more enjoyable. And I just answered that last question. Have we used patterns to facilitate faster learning? Yes, I hope so. Okay. So the next 3 songs are going to be very important for you as a teacher in this room. Your last micro-teaching experience, your second micro-teaching experience is how to teach a song. You must teach it by using the rote method or the note-rote method. Okay, so let's talk about, there's 3 different ways to teach a song. The first one is by rote. It's used, echo imitation is used primarily. Kind of like we just taught that rhythmic poem. Right, where I say the poem, you speak it back to me. I say the second part, you speak that part back to me. I chain the first and second part together And you repeat the first and second part back to me. Yes? Do these steps sound familiar? Same thing happens when teaching a rote song. I sing the first part, you sing the first part back to me. I sing the second part, you sing the second part back to me. I sing the first and second part together, you sing the first and second part back to me. And so on and so forth, chunking and chaining those little tidbits of information or songs. Or I could say, let's play a game, clap and say your name. Everyone will copy you and sound just the same. Sound just the same as the first and second part. Can you sing that back to me? I can do it that way too. So the important part to know about rote song is that there is no visual aids whatsoever. There's nothing in their hands. They're not reading anything. They're not looking at anything. It's all learned through oral memory. Okay, so short songs are usually taught in their entirety, like Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O, and on his farm he had a pig, E-I-E-I-O. And you can sing that song back to me, typically. So can most first graders. Longer songs are put together phrase by phrase, just like the rhythmic poem. The second type of teaching is note rote, which means that I have some kind of visual aid in their hands. This could be a melodic contour map, or I could say, look at my hands and sing along and follow along. That's a visual aid, right? It's a visual representation of the pitches. This is a really good way to teach a song if it's kind of complicated. So they can see, oh, that's a skip, and that's a step. Note teaching is when I physically hand you a piece of music and you have to sing it. Here are the notes on a page. Boom, go for it. See you later. You know what I mean? So it's very abstract. It's very difficult for my students to do this unless they are trained musicians. You're not going to have to teach a song this way because most of you aren't fluent enough in music to do that, which is fine. It's not the purpose of this class. So on Wednesday and Friday, we will work more with this stuff. Have a wonderful day. I'm so glad that you are here and that I am also here. So take care. Have a great day. Bye.
Is it just this button? Yeah.